Britain's emergency bikers are the lone rangers of the road. They scythe through the most congested traffic in Europe to get help where it's most needed, fast.
Go, go, go.
In the battle to save and protect lives, they can be first on scene. And the minute they arrive, we're right there with them. Coming up on Emergency Bikers.
Keep going.
Agony on the train.
Nice and slowly.
One surprise after another for a new biker cop.
It's just a calamity of errors by the sounds of it.
And meet Smithy, the fuel connoisseur.
It has a sort of fragrance of something like paint thinners.
Early evening, Birmingham. A city with one of the busiest road networks in the country and home to 7 rail stations, handling around 60 million passengers a year. On duty, biker paramedic Mark Hayes. An emergency call's just come in from a train on its way into the city's main station, New Street. A woman's collapsed in agony. The train's due in 5 minutes. Mark must be there to meet it. On his Yamaha FJR 1300, he weaves through the traffic and arrives in under 3 minutes, first on scene.
Yeah, that's received, thank you. I'm in attendance, so I'll go down to the platform.
Mark rides right through the concourse and parks up as close as he can to the platform. The train left Manchester an hour and a half ago. Mark has no idea what to expect.
Hello. For staff on board, I think she might have ruptured her pelvis, okay? She cannot move, she's in floods of tears.
Okay.
A fractured pelvis can be caused by a fall, but is much more common in the elderly.
Hello. You're right. Tell me what's happened.
I've got on the train in Manchester and all of a sudden I felt as if something's just gone. Something in my hip has just gone.
In your hip?
I'm in horrific pain.
Okay.
I've made my way through the train and it's got worse.
Okay, which hip? Your left.
It's going on
into your groin. A bit baffled because you've not sustained any trauma or any injury. You've just literally stepped up on.
Yeah.
Obviously the train's not going anywhere till we got an ambo crew, so it's going to be delayed for a bit, I'm afraid. All right. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst pain you've ever had, what score would you give the
when
pain?
I stand up and say it's about 8.
How is it now?
Just trying to move it and bring
Don't
my
move
legs
it.
in.
Okay. As you're there now,
Something was grating, something was running.
in your hip?
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel sick.
Do you? Please don't be sick, I don't do sick. Are we able to pop your jacket off? All right.
Sorry, I'm ever so weak.
Don't be sorry. You're not drunk, you're not abusive, you're a genuine patient and you're in pain. It's nothing to be sorry about, yeah? Don't worry. They're here.
A fractured or dislocated hip is usually the result of a major accident, unless there's another problem that's gone undetected.
Okay. The crew are here, so what we're going to do, we're going to start you off on the gas and air. Have you ever had gas and air before? When you had... Okay. That'll take the edge off the pain.
It's rare for someone as young as Laura to break a bone just by stepping onto a train. She may be suffering early onset osteoporosis, which means her bones are very fragile. Mark and the team must take every care moving her.
Keep going. Here's my arm. Nice and slowly. That's it. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep taking that, keep taking it. Can you relax his back at all with the knee? Nice and slowly. Keep taking that. That's it. All right, okay. Just give you a minute just to settle down. Nice, slow, deep breaths. I know. All right, nice, slow, deep breaths. Yeah? Just going to get you upstairs now. Nice and slow, not too fast because you will go dizzy. All right, nice. Keep going with that. Just don't forget, the moment you stop, it wears off really, really quickly. And we want to try and manage that pain.
I don't want to be sick all over you.
Look, if you're going to be sick, let me know. I'll be out the way, don't worry.
2 hours after Laura first crumpled into a heap in excruciating pain, she's off the train and will soon be on her way to hospital.
There we go, that's the hard bit done, all right? Don't worry about people around you, you just keep taking that down here.
Mark will get a clearer picture of what's happened on the ambulance.
Quite often when we go out to people that have fallen with hip pain, we look for clinical signs of a fractured neck of femur, a fractured hip, and that would usually show shortening and rotation. What we could do is lying perfectly flat, because we just want to compare your legs. Deep breaths. Can you straighten that one a bit? Never walked with a limp before? No. Right, okay. We've got shortening and rotation to the left leg, which does indicate possible fracture with the hip. So obviously it needs X-rays and off to hospital. You're right. You're shaking. Well, the nasty bit's over, and we can make you a bit more comfortable now. All right.
Mark gives Laura anti-nausea drugs and morphine to ease her pain.
How's your hip? Is the ache gone? So hopefully you're set for a comfortable journey into hospital.
This case is a bit of a mystery to Mark.
I'm really surprised because what she's telling me, the sensation that she got, the pain that she's got, I would expect a fractured hip. All she's done is she's stepped up onto the train. All the best.
X-rays and a thorough examination in hospital will reveal exactly what the problem is.
We've controlled the pain, so at least the journey to hospital is going to be bearable.
Essex, the A12, the busiest road in the county. It's just before 9 in the morning and rush hour traffic is near its peak. On patrol, PC Steve Clem Clements. He spots another motorbike up ahead, riding in between the slow-moving cars. It's known to bikers as filtering. It's not illegal, but can be extremely dangerous. Cars often switch lanes without warning, and this biker is riding too fast. There's now such a high risk of an accident that Clem has to ignore his own safety and speed up to catch the man. Just over a minute later, Clem's caught the biker, but he doesn't think the blue lights are for him and moves over to let Clem past. But he soon realises what's happening and he pulls in at the next lay-by.
The reason I stopped you is because you're filtering. Filtering itself is not illegal unless you add another element to it, okay? And you added speed, okay? Traffic was travelling at one point less than 5 miles an hour, yeah? I slowed down, too dangerous, and I'm doing 20, 25, and you were gaining more fast than me. You were gaining, distance increasing.
It wasn't increasing very fast.
You were doing 30 plus, right?
I always thought it's acceptable when you're filtering.
Yes.
As long as you're not going more than 30 miles an hour,
So what you're saying is...
I don't believe I was doing.
You were doing 30 miles an hour more than what the traffic was doing, okay? You're giving this lot a lot of credit to see you, aren't you? Please don't see us. Don't see motorcycle at all, alright? If he decides to move, you're going to hit him before you've had a chance to hit your brake. You've got to give them a chance to see you. Yeah, we're the vulnerable ones. Yeah. So what I'm proposing to do is put you on a riding course. Yeah, it's a 2-day course. Yeah, it's not a conviction at court. All right. So you don't have to inform your insurance company that you've done it. Okay. They'll look at what you did, your offence, and see how to make it safer. So obviously, our ultimate aim is for you to stay on that and actually get to the other end. All right.
Every day in the UK, 5 people are killed or injured travelling too fast for the road conditions. Bikers are particularly at risk of serious injury.
We'll learn a lot from it, so and hopefully you're also safe. And look at
I haven't had any issues yet, but I understand.
As I say, you are giving far too much credit to the drivers. Yeah, the way you're riding. Yeah, you might have good skills yourself, but you're relying on them seeing you. Okay, and you've got to give them more advance notice.
I got it wrong. I appreciate it.
All right, nice to meet you. Cheers, then. Bye. We are looking at more education. The majority of accidents on bikes are down to rider error. I mean, I have been to accidents where a motorcycle was filtering and ended up the wheels of a lorry, and I just don't want to see motorcycles doing that.
The motorcyclist successfully completed his safe riding course. Birmingham, a late autumn morning, and the streets are packed with shoppers. On duty, biker paramedic Steve Harris. A 999's come in. A man's collapsed in the street. Steve takes the quickest route, cutting through pedestrian precincts. On his bike, he can ride through the crowds, right up to the patient. He's there in 1.5 minutes, first on scene.
How long's this been going on?
Fitting for about 4 minutes, 4 to 5 minutes now. Yeah, it's not long.
Exactly as he is.
An ambulance soon arrives. Steve wants to get the man on board to run tests.
1, 2, lift.
Anything from high fever to diabetes can trigger a seizure. Steve needs to detect just what's causing this man's fit.
Here we go. If you grab his coat, as we lift, that's it. Are you epileptic? You take medicines, tablets?
Epileptic convulsions usually last just a few minutes, leaving the patient confused.
Nice and gentle.
But the man's now been shaking for more than 10, which could suggest something else.
Right, all this twitching and convulsing, is this what normally happens to you? How long does it go on for? All right. Once it's stopped, does it come back again? It does. And which hospital did you go to?
City.
Okay.
I'm just going to put a little bit of oxygen on you, okay?
What I want to do is just pop a little needle in there. All right.
The man's convulsion stops. Steve inserts a cannula, ready to inject anticonvulsants in case he fits again.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Steve wants to get into hospital fast and will travel with him.
There you go. You've seen me around the town. I know I've seen you. I don't think I've ever been out to you, but we've met before. All right. We're going to pop you up to City Hospital. All right.
There are over 500,000 epileptics in the UK, and 75 more are diagnosed every day.
Right. How you been the last few days? All right.
Halfway to hospital, the man suddenly fits again. His body is gripped by an electric storm, his heart rate going haywire. He needs drugs fast. To give them safely, Steve must stop the ambulance.
I'm going to give you something to stop this happening.
Drugs administered, the ambulance can now continue to hospital.
I've given some medication to ease that off. We just slowed it all down.
Yes, we're just right outside City Hospital at this moment in time.
His fit is slowing, but its duration is worrying.
Usually a convulsion will only last 30 seconds to a minute, minute and a half. And by the time we arrive, they've already stopped convulsing and they're in the recovery phase. So for me to pull up to find that the patient was still convulsing, it's quite unusual.
It's not only how long the seizure lasted that's baffling.
Most epileptics, when they come round from an episode, whatever the episode theirs takes, are usually quite confused. They go through a period we call postictal, where their brain is not working correctly. They may not know who they are, where they are, what's happened to them, and it takes usually a little while for that to right itself. So for someone to stop convulsing and then start talking to me in a lucid manner, being able to give me information, is quite unusual.
Essex, and a cold winter morning for the biker cops. They've been so successful in slashing casualty rates since they first hit the roads in 2006. that the squad's being boosted. Reporting for duty today, PC Tracy Bishop. She's been a cop for 24 years and a biker since her teens.
Could have chosen a better time of year to do it, but I'm not a fair weather rider. I ride in all weathers. I just choose not to ride my bike in this sort of weather. But no, it's really good. Enjoying it.
Today, Tracy's patrolling the streets around Colchester. It's not long before a white van catches her eye. It switches on its hazards and crawls to a stop in a lay-by right in front of her. Tracy's suspicious, pulls in further up the road and runs a radio check on the number plate. What she discovers makes it worth her while waiting to flag down the driver. When the van doesn't reappear, she doubles back to see what's happened to it. It's still in the lay-by and seems to have broken down.
Hiya, who's the driver?
Hello, sir.
Hello, my dear. You've broken down. You called someone out?
Oh, no, we haven't yet. I've just spoken on the way.
Brilliant stuff. Whose vehicle is it?
My father's.
What's actually gone wrong with it?
I don't know. It won't go into any kind of gear. It's just sort of stuck in reverse.
Oh, that's not good.
On the roundabout, I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I was right behind you. You put your hazards on, and we thought you were dropping your friend off, you see. So I went up to the next lay-by, expecting you to come round, and you didn't appear.
Won't go into gear at all.
Oh, that's not good, is it? You know the MOT ran out 31st of March. Have you got your driving licence on you at all?
Every year, nearly 5 million drivers don't get MOTs on time. No MOT means invalid insurance. Worse still, faults which those tests would detect and fix are responsible for killing or seriously injuring one person every day.
You had a bit of bleached blonde going on here, did you?
Oh, you don't see my hair?
And it's a normal colour. You look ever so young here. Is it your dad that gets it serviced?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure he told me he had it MOT by one of his friends.
When you're having the gearbox done and sorted, get the MOT done at the same time.
Well, it's silly because, you know, I'm quite a big believer in MOTs and that kind of
Yeah.
I have my car serviced quite often because I don't want things like this.
No.
As you know.
Exactly.
That's a fine of £60 for no MOT. But Tracy isn't finished yet.
Can I have a hash DL and a person check, please?
Further checks bring more bad news for the driver.
Oh, that's interesting. The only person insured on this vehicle is your dad.
That should be a named driver.
Tracy checks again, in case the driver was put on the policy in the last few days.
You haven't been added to your dad's policy, so you've got no insurance.
I'm going to kill him.
Tracy will seize the van unless the passenger is covered to drive.
What sort of insurance have you got?
Oh, I lost my licence 3 years ago.
Oh. Well, you're no good then, are you? Oh dear.
And speeding.
It sounds like it's a good job you're off the road.
I was stupid when I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 24 now.
Yeah.
I've grown up a bit now. I drove for 3 years, and
Yeah.
I'll start driving again soon.
Just make sure you're totally legal when you do that.
Yeah, I always do.
Yeah. Well, no, you don't, from what I sound like, but you know.
It's a driver's responsibility to check that he's insured, so he'll be getting 6 points and a £200 fine.
Everything suggests that you have no insurance. All right, so I'm now seizing this vehicle under 165 of the Road Traffic Act because you have no third-party liability. All right, cool.
The lads will have to unload the van and wait for their dads to pick them up.
It's just a calamity of errors by the sounds of it. He's not very happy with his dad. They come in threes, don't they? So he's got no MOT, he's broken down, and I've just seized his vehicle, so unfortunately it's just not his day today.
Nobody collected the van, and it was scrapped. The driver's contesting the points and fine in court. Birmingham, mid-morning. A 999's come in for biker paramedic Steve Harris.
214 received.
A man's collapsed on a train at one of Birmingham's main line stations. The traffic's light, and Steve covers the half mile in just under 1 minute. A member of staff is there to meet him.
Hiya. Young male, just started fitting on the train, early 30s. Normally quite fit because he rides a bike. Okay. So we've got some first aiders that are actually on the train with him at the moment. He's not fitting now? He's still fitting, yes. He's been fitting for a good 5-6 minutes now.
The man's symptoms sound very familiar. When Steve makes it to the train, he discovers why.
He's been like that for 10-15 minutes.
It's all right.
No passengers saw him bang his head or anything.
Yes, we know.
It's the same patient he treated just days ago.
Come round for me, mate. Come on. It's Steve, the biker. Come on. As soon as you come round, we're going to get you off the train. And this way they can have their train back. Thanks for your help. Thank you.
It's another long seizure, longer than those usually associated with epilepsy.
Right. How are you feeling?
His heart rate, though quick, is regular.
Should we try and sit you up a bit?
This may be a different type of seizure, triggered by psychological stress, known as a dissociative seizure. It can't be controlled, and it affects around 15,000 people in the UK.
Push. Coming in the waiting room.
The man will need assessment to find out what's causing his attacks. But the outlook is good. Half of those diagnosed and treated never have another fit.
I don't know what happened. Yeah. The main problem is not so much to treat the convulsion as to treat the factors why he has these convulsions. We'll pop you up the hospital, get you checked, make sure everything's all right. All right. Nice and steady. Whether or not he needs psychiatric evaluation or the symptoms that he presents with on a regular basis, a psychosomatic or whatever, I don't know. You know, this is something that his GP and the hospital should be working towards and helping him that way.
North Yorkshire, Sunday morning. The traffic squad of England's biggest county are carrying out their weekly vehicle checks. Biker cop Martin Smith's in his element, ensuring that all's well with the force's bikes.
I've always been fascinated with anything that oozes oil, smells of petrol, diesel or even steam, because I have this horrible habit that attracts me to mechanical pieces of mayhem.
The speedometer's calibrated, as you can see in the middle. There's a little certificate in the middle of each one. It's 100% accurate. Obviously gives us the facility to do follow checks on speeding motorists.
There's always something to be learnt in everything anybody does, whether it's repairing a car engine, doing some fancy knitting or making bums. It matters not to me. If it's something you like, you take an interest in it. It's answering that question, why? Why does that work and why does that not work? Why is that made like that? Why is that made like that? And I suppose that's just human nature.
Once he's on duty out on the road, Smithy gets a call that will put his engineering knowledge to the test. Fellow traffic cop, Sergeant Quigley, has stopped a van on the A64. He thinks it's dangerous, and as a qualified vehicle inspector, Smithy's just the man to check it out.
The wheel arches are held together with tape. The passenger side one's had tape on, but it's come off.
Yeah.
I'll have a look. We'll have a good look.
The van was billowing clouds of thick smoke from its exhaust, and its bodywork isn't the best.
Is there anything wrong with it that you know about before I start looking?
No, only the arches, that's about it, really.
I'll give it the once over. The key's in it?
Yeah, they're in it, yeah.
How long have you had it?
It's my boss's.
Problem number one is the sharp, rusty bodywork. It could seriously injure a pedestrian.
You know, a child walking past it parked up on a street could catch themselves on it and cut themselves, and it would be classed as dangerous.
Underneath, there's a potentially lethal problem.
As you can probably see, that one's just completely loose. It could result in the prop shaft actually breaking. And if that was to fracture and come away, this thing's going to whip round. And I have actually had experience of an accident many years ago which turned fatal, where exactly that was the cause of it, this disintegrating, and this broke, and it literally flicked the van over, because you can imagine this is spinning at goodness knows what speed when it's going down the road. If it breaks off, you're going upside down.
The bodywork and mechanical problems mean the van will be seized. But something else is puzzling Smithy. The van's covered in grease and oil. A check in the back reveals why. It's being used to collect waste chip fat, which is mixed with diesel to create cheap and legal biofuel. But some of the containers smell decidedly fishy.
That doesn't smell of chip fat, that smells more like kerosene, does that? Stick your nose in there, see if you think that's a kerosene smell.
Well, it ain't chip fat.
No, it's not chip fat. Certainly not diesel, anyway.
No.
Kerosene is a heating oil. A diesel engine will run on it, but using it as fuel is illegal because kerosene isn't taxed and is full of impurities.
So you fill this up today with something from one of those canisters in there?
Yeah, well, it smelled like diesel, didn't it?
It smelled like diesel. Yeah.
The driver reveals that he's filled the fuel tank with the mystery mixture. Smithy suspects that it could be illegal, so a sample is taken from the tank.
It's getting there.
You need to be about a foot taller, mate. I used to be a foot lower.
I remember a time we had proper policemen. That's got something else in it. I feel like Jilly Goulden. It has a sort of thick sort of viscosity with a fragrance of something like paint thinners. But it makes the van run all right, doesn't it?
Makes it smoke a lot.
It would seem at the moment it might well be a mixture of diesel and kerosene. The kerosene being, you know, unlawful use on the road for a road-going vehicle like that. The sergeant's working with customs at the moment to see what they want to do, whether they have an interest in the vehicle.
Using kerosene as a fuel is not allowed. But it is legal to use up to 2,500 litres of biofuel a year, such as a diesel and chip fat mix. Any more than that, and taxes must be paid, which is why customs will be taking this further.
If they find it's not diesel, or equivalent to that's road legal, made out of chip fat oil, then you can expect a substantial fine.
As the van is removed, Smithy discovers yet another dangerous problem.
Look at that. That's pumping out the fuel tank. It's got an excessive diesel leak. I don't know how long it's been stood on that transporter, seconds. I think you can see from that, that's not what we want all over the road. That is a motorcyclist nemesis. As soon as that gets wet, on these damp roads we've got today, you touch it with that, you're going to be upside down. Completely and utterly dangerous.
Mid-morning in Cornwall, one of the 4 counties in the 7,000 square mile patch covered by the South Western Ambulance Service. Biker paramedic Sarah Watson has a lot of ground to cover.
Cornwall's a very rural area, so a lot of the dispatches that we get sent to are between towns, really. So I'm off to a dispatch point now in the middle of the county, somewhere near the A30, and from there we're about the same distance to Newquay, St Austell, Truro and Bodmin. So we're quite useful as a resource because we can get to any of those towns quite quickly. 06408, yeah, roger that.
A 999's come in. A heavily pregnant woman's collapsed on a bus. This is a red call, the most urgent emergency. Sarah must get there as soon as she can. She's 4.5 miles away from her patient, but on her BMW R1200 RT, she can dodge the traffic more easily than an ambulance on 4 wheels. She's on scene in 6.5 minutes.
Hello, I'm Sarah. And who are you? Kristen. What's happening today, Kristen?
Well, I found out I was just having an asthma attack.
Yep.
I do have acute asthma.
Right.
And then I lost my vision and I was just violently sick everywhere.
Okay. 26 weeks pregnant, was it? Or are you 26?
29.
29 weeks pregnant. Okay, right. All been well so far?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Dizziness isn't unusual in pregnancy, but Kristen's vomiting and vision loss could be symptoms of preeclampsia. Blood pressure soars to dangerously high levels and can be deadly to mother and baby.
Have you ever had migraines or anything like that before?
Well, actually, with my pregnancy, they just asked me on the phone. I have had a lot of headaches.
Preeclampsia usually strikes in the last 3 months of pregnancy. At 29 weeks, Kristen is at risk.
If my vision would come back properly.
Okay, so you've still got a fuzzy vision, have you?
Yes, it's a lot better than it was.
Yeah.
It's just not proper yet.
How's the light affecting it? Do you feel that you're sensitive to the light or not particularly? Are you still feeling faint now?
I'm feeling dizzy.
Yeah, okay.
An ambulance has arrived on scene. Every year, preeclampsia claims the lives of 6 mums and hundreds of babies. Sarah needs to find out exactly what's happening, fast.
She hasn't actually passed out herself, but her vision has gone, and she feels very dizzy at the minute, and obviously we've got pregnancy to think about. Right, my lovely, you want to see how you are standing up a minute, and then we can always sit down again if you're feeling a bit rough.
I'm okay.
Okay, righto. Nice gentle walk over to the back step then. Do you know if it's a boy or a girl yet? Or yeah? Yeah? Oh, that's cool.
In the ambulance, the team can run full checks, beginning with Kristin's blood pressure.
Feeling a little bit funny now. Should we get a bowl? There's a bowl there just in case.
We should add that on the bus.
So just run that through what happened again for me, Kristin. You sat on the bus.
I could feel my heart like pulsating in my chest, and then my vision started going, and that scared me. And the next thing I knew, I was blacked out, and I just threw up all over myself.
Do you think you lost consciousness at all? Did you feel you were slumped to one side when you came to? So you just the visual blackout? Yeah.
Because I was still talking
you
to my
could
mum.
still be aware of what was going on around you.
I can't see mum. I was telling her I couldn't see.
Your blood pressure's good.
Kristin's blood pressure isn't a cause for worry, but they want to check her heart.
What I'd like to do is do an ECG, tracing over your heart, and we've done everything then.
Sometimes if the heart beats too slowly or beats too quickly, it's not enough to get oxygen to your brain, and that can cause you to black out.
Nice and relaxed for me. We'll get this reading and go from there, all right? The ECG's nice and regular. It's all okay. There's nothing on there. All right.
So I just want to make sure the baby's ate.
Yeah, that's understandable.
But with Kristin's checks coming back clear, Sarah's happy to hand her care over to her midwife.
She's got a heartbeat monitor and things that she could maybe put your mind at rest a little easier about your little boy. So it might be a better way to look at that, to go home. As I say, if she comes out, she's got all the equipment to look at little one rather than just check you out, hasn't she? Okay.
Yeah.
Happy with that, guys?
Happy? Yeah, I'm happy.
Generally speaking, we don't come across a lot of ill pregnant women. We deal with the pregnancy at the end of the term when we deliver, obviously, and occasionally we get called to an emergency, maybe bleeding, maybe something unusual going on, which might indicate a problem with the child. Right, best luck, Kristin. All right, I hope it all works out, and I hope your little boy is all nice and healthy when you get him. Cheers, guys. Thank you. She's happy to go home and speak to her own midwife, who obviously knows her own case a lot better, and we'll have some instruments that she can measure baby's heart rate and just check that he's okay for her. We don't mind people who are being cautious, especially with little ones. It's too much to risk. If there is a problem, then we can hopefully identify it if it needs to go to the hospital, and that's what we'll do.
Essex, morning rush hour. Out on patrol, keeping the county's roads safe. PC Lucy Watson. She's been called to an accident near a pedestrian crossing in Basildon. A motorbike has gone into the back of a car.
What happened?
I stopped at the crossing and he didn't stop, he just went straight to the back of me.
Okay, are you injured at all?
No, just a bit shaken.
All right.
Because I think he tried to stop and not hit me, he sort of threw himself onto the road and then he's done his shoulder as he sort of come across the road surface. More damage to him probably than the bike or the car. He's talking away, so hopefully he'll be all right.
The morning traffic is clogging up the road, and fellow biker cop Martin Ackers has arrived to help ease the flow.
Got to keep the traffic moving. It's right in the middle of rush hour for us ourselves, so if we're not here doing it, you can guarantee you'll have a bit of argy-bargy trying to get past the scene of the incident here. We're right next to a pedestrian crossing as well, so let's make sure the road's safe. Just walking up and down, keep myself warm, flapping my arms around there.
You do it very well though, Martin. Just mind you don't take off.
Having spoken to the car driver, Lucy now gets the biker's version of events.
Hello there. What's your name? What's your name for a start?
John.
John?
Yeah.
John's damaged his shoulder, and until he gets to hospital, he's managing the pain with gas and air.
And what happened?
Lady in front of me stopped at the crossing. I just started to realise that she'd stopped, and by the time I had, it was too late for me to stop in time, not to hit her. One of them accident things.
John, it's not just one of them accident things, it's a classic careless driving, all right?
It wasn't careless driving.
Well, if you run into the back of someone, it is, because you're supposed to be paying more attention. However,
You're the only one injured, so I don't see any point in prosecuting you.
Right.
All right, but you need to accept it is careless, so that we stand some chance of making sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough, yeah.
Do you accept that you should have seen us stop him?
Yeah, I guess I should have, yeah.
It's reckoned that each year, 8,500 reported accidents are caused by tailgating.
What we can do is exchange details.
Yeah.
And obviously your insurance company will be responsible for any damage to her car. I'll get in touch with you later on to make sure you're okay and see what the nature of your injuries is.
Okay.
All right, mate.
Bikers account for only 1% of road users, but a quarter of accident casualties.
They are great fun, but when it all goes wrong, you do get hurt. You always expect to have an injury, and it's always potentially a serious one. It's one of those things you accept as a motorcyclist. Notice, using that bike today, it's not marked up. I've got really bright blue lights and loud sirens on it. People just don't see me. If they can't see me, what chance have the normal motorcyclist got?
Lucy now has to make sure the road is safe.
We're going to move the bike off the carriageway. His friend's going to pick it up for him later on. We've just got to make sure the oil hasn't left the road too slippery to leave it, otherwise we'll have to stay here till the highways get here. There's a big pool of it where the bike was laying, and it's just prior to a crossing. So obviously my concern is I don't want someone sliding on that and running into the people on the crossing. So we've got to make sure that's safe. If I had a shovel, I'd put a bit of dirt on it.
They're not standard issue for biker cops, but the ever-resourceful Lucy goes searching.
You haven't got a garden shovel I could borrow for a few minutes, have you?
Yeah, I should. I'll get one out for you.
Thank you so much. The council are on the way with some granules or sand, but in the meantime that will start soaking it up. Charlie Dimmock, I think. I love gardening, but not normally on the highway. You stopping the traffic for an old lady.
Biker John had broken his collarbone and cracked 2 ribs. Birmingham, and rookie biker paramedic Steve Cooper's on call with old hand Mark.
So does your mum give you a note today in case it rains, or you're going to be all right?
This is the most he's taught me. Flat white. Not what was it? A latte's for girls.
You can't say that, mate.
What did you used to drink? A skinny decaf with sweetener? Obviously, it's not worked.
All right. The only advice I can give him: put on some weight, because if it comes off, it's going to hurt. You've got to be built to bounce.
You're telling me that that's my future?
When I started the uni, I looked like you.
Before long, Steve's called into action. A 999's come in. An elderly lady is struggling to breathe. Steve's half a mile away, but on his bike he can take shortcuts. He rides through precincts, carefully picking his way past pedestrians, however much they try his patience.
Move out of the way.
He arrives on scene in 1.5 minutes to find Rose. She's shopping with her sister and is feeling faint.
How are we doing today?
She doesn't faint, but she felt that way.
Felt light-headed. Do you feel faint now, sweetheart?
Yes.
Yeah. Rose?
Eyesight and balance get worse with age, which could be why Rose is feeling dizzy. But Steve needs to be sure. He starts checks.
It's nice having a man to undress you. If I was his age, he'd be all right.
There we go. Well, there's not a lot to you, is there, sweetheart?
She's 90. She keeps it calm. She's a spring.
She's 98.
98?
Her sister's 94.
Well, that's impressive. Do you take many tablets, sweetheart?
No, I'm not on anything. Yes, you are. You're on one in the morning.
On one. Oh, what's that one for?
In the morning. I don't know what it is.
Do you know what it is?
Dry rot. It's a job to get it.
Dry rot. Do you still feel a bit light-headed now, Rose? Still feel a bit funny?
Yeah, better than I was.
Better than you was? Okay.
Yeah. Handsome.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I don't think you're very well if you think I'm handsome. We might have to take you.
If I was your age.
Your blood pressure's fine anyway. Blood pressure's good. Can I pop this on your other finger? There we go.
Did you feel all right while you were walking around earlier?
Yes, I was all right.
Has she been making you pay for everything? Is that what it is?
That's why I've gone for that.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. She looks that sore.
Today for that chocolate.
Steve's checks reveal nothing too worrying.
How are you feeling now, Rosa? Do you feel any better or still the same?
The head feels funner.
Your head still feels funner? Okay.
Rose's dizziness could be due to a lack of blood flow to her brain. She needs a checkup to rule out any underlying problems. Any fall, anywhere at her age, could be serious. Steve needs to get her to hospital.
If you fall over and injure yourself, you know, you're not going to be able to come into town and do your bits and bobs.
No, I'll be able to spend my money.
That's it, yeah. You'll be able to save up for a change. But yeah, so I'd like to make sure that you're okay.
Yes,
if that means popping you to hospital for a couple of checks, would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you are good.
Yeah.
You're a good patient.
Sounds well, all right. Thank you for what you've done.
No worries. We'll keep you together.
Yes.
The short wait for the ambulance gives Steve time for a chat.
When was the last time you had to see your doctor for something?
Well, I don't see them very often, do I?
You don't have much cause to go, your health's normally all right?
Yeah.
That's good. It's been a real pleasing job, absolutely brilliant. More with it than me at 98. Well, I can't put dry rot down, I get told off. Do you want me to put it down? I'll put it in brackets. All right. They like to have a laugh and they've got a good rapport going between the two of them.
So you're not dancing tonight, are you?
Can you teach me something?
He's rubbish at dancing.
I got rigid hips. Oh, I'm hopeless.
To rule out any heart problems, Rose has an ECG trace on the ambulance.
The crew members just said that that's all come back absolutely fine as well. So yeah, for 98, they're absolutely fantastic.
See you after some time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, thanks. Stole my heart. Proper old school, you know, didn't want to cause a fuss, and we were able to relax and just have a bit of a chat, and she was grateful for what little we did. So yeah, really nice job.
After a checkup in hospital, Rose and her sister got home safely. Thankfully, Kristen didn't have preeclampsia. Her baby was lying awkwardly, trapping a nerve, which caused the sickness and loss of vision. Baby Cody arrived weighing 8 pounds 9 ounces, and both he and Kristen are doing well. The dangerous van in North Yorkshire was never reclaimed and has since been crushed. Customs detected no kerosene in the fuel. It was legal biodiesel and no outstanding duty was owed.
Just slowly. That's it.
It turned out that Laura, who was in agony on the train from Manchester, had a shallow hip socket and had torn a major muscle in her thigh. She was released from hospital that night, but 3 months later had still not returned to work. Next time on Emergency Bikers, a man's out cold at work.
That's a prolonged fit for somebody who's got no history of epilepsy whatsoever.
A driver's causing problems on a major road.
We possibly have a drink driver who's about 4 times over the prescribed limit.
And a worrying injury on the hockey pitch.
The worst place to be hit is in the head. It could have killed her straight away.